What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the workshop. I am Valor, and you've already read the title and seen that thumbnail. This video is on the DevilZ Hornet. This is my ENDWAR 2018 build that sadly I'm not going to be able to run, but it's going to be run in my stead by the guy who sent me these parts here. And that is Milan Duvel of DevilZ Nerfworks, which you can see on the sticker right here. And yes, this is obviously a strife with one of his Masada barrels, as well as motor covers on both sides that are windowed, his battery cover, which has a voltmeter in the back, so it's easier to see. Since there's a rail covering the jam door like I usually do, having the voltmeter there makes more sense. As well as the Blaster Forge battery holder stock, which is based around the Retaliator stock, which looks kind of neat. And obviously, like, grip cap from the block kit, which makes everything more comfortable. Foam blast mag release, because again it's comfy. And yeah, the front barrel is from a long shot front gun, which like that's that front sight thing that looks quite nice. But yeah, let's get to the internals. The internals are a DRS cage, obviously, with Neo Rhinos, which give really nice snappy rev time, as well as a good consistent firing sort of circle. Like, whenever testing this thing, I was landing shots exactly where I was wanting them to go. And because of the DRS cage, DRS cages favor accuracy and consistency over FPS, which again they were designed before the days of really experimenting with higher crush and stuff like that. But yeah, this thing in my testing was getting an average of about 100 FPS with newer darts. With used darts it gets to like 95, 90, but then again those shots were accurate as all get out because spin and everything. Then in here there is also a voltmeter with a rev switch activation. So it turns on whenever you press the rev switch, which you'd be wondering, Valor, why doesn't the rev switch actually rev the blaster anymore? This thing has a V6 select fire kit from NS Strike, which I bought myself and everything. And neat thing about the V6 kit is it all works off of a single trigger, similar to an FDL. It makes it more of a dual stage trigger where half pull revs it and the rest of the way actually activates the firing cycle. Yeah, let's just kind of get on to that. Let me flip it over so you can see the little display with the counter and everything. See a little bit of epoxy or whatever in there. But yes, the way you turn this on is holding down the rev trigger, the release trigger, and it will say for a second, and it will say on, and then it will load itself up, which, you know, may not be the greatest if you're constantly turning your select fire on and off. But yes, and these three little dashes mean I have no ammo. Whenever I load a mag in, this is I think it's worker. Yeah, it's worker sniper mag, which I really like, and it looks really nice. There's a sensor in here that actually senses whether there's ammo in the thing. But there is a bit of a caveat if you're using something like a DRS cage with the with this kit, because there's a sensor that goes across the front of the mag here. The complete semicircle of the DRS cage actually gets in the way of that sensor. So I actually had to go in with my Dremel and a cutting wheel and everything and carve away a little bit, like a little sort of... Let me grab a Sharpie so I can illustrate this. I actually had to carve away something like that out of both sides of the guide here, so it could have the sensor pass through it, which... if you're going to use this kit for a build or whatever, I would really recommend something like, say, a printed OFP cage with like either a first gen printed cage or the new ones that are coming out, or even a Morpheus, because that dart guide should not get in the way of that sensor. But I really wanted a Snickers cage because DRS is like a legend in the hobby. And yeah, again, the selector switch for the thumb is back. But there was a bit of caveat with this stock, which I learned after I assembled it, is it's kind of hard to work my thumb around to hit that, which I am actually printing up a stock right now, so I can do a review on it, and you will see a video on that later. Yeah, keep an eye out for that. There are actually a couple of different battery holder stocks, but I designed this one to be modular with a quick release right here, so I can actually just pop that, pull the whole stock out with the battery in here, and then slap a new one on there, which makes things a little better if you want something a little bit longer, want a different style of stock, as long as it's like a battery holder style of stock. Before sending this off to Milan Duvel so he can run it, I might print up a couple Picatinny rails for the sides here. But yeah, enough rambling. Let's illustrate the ammo counter. I've got a 10 mag with the AccuFakes in here. They're old and worn, so they won't perform as good, but and it actually has a little bit of motor braking to it, which you see here. Half trigger pull actually revs it. And this is another reason I chose the Neo Rhinos as opposed to revamped Fangs. For one, the kit, in my experience, doesn't like 2S as much. Like, you can go into a button menu and actually change that, but I wouldn't have had much room in the battery tray anyway for a 2S, so having the battery holder stock lets me use bigger batteries. Now switched over to 3-shot bursts. Means I've fired 6 shots, and then let's just full auto the last 4. 12. Maybe I have overloaded. And whenever you're out of ammo, it tells you that you are out of ammo. And there's another thing about this the sensor. In my testing with these window covers, it actually interferes with the sensor in some instances, where it'll actually think that it's not out of ammo, so it'll still let you fire and stuff. Because, let me see if I can get it to actually do that. Let me grab my phone and use the flashlight. It seems that my phone's light is not the right wavelength for actually activating. I think it's an IR beam, but outside there is a bit of IR, obviously from the sun. So yeah. But let's get to a firing demo so you can actually see what this thing is all about. All right. And again, since the rev trigger's not needed anymore with this, the rev trigger just turns on that nice little green voltmeter. I've got an 18 stick with, I think it's completely loaded with AccuFakes, and I've got a coupe box right there for illustrative purposes for accuracy. And I will start with single shots. Again, these lights are messing with me. I might actually have to tint these windows with like green or something. But yeah, single shots are just... And I'm about 15 feet away. And if I back off to about 30, I can still actually hit things. Got 7 shots through there. Let's do a 3-round burst. 13 shots. And burst the rest out. Okay. Moving on to an 18 stick with mostly Raytheon waffles. But yeah. There's still some other like green darts that I kind of had in the bucket. Switch back to single shot. Yeah, that's so fun. and I was placing those shots exactly where I wanted them to go because of the Dr. Snickus cage with the Neo Rhinos. The RPM of the Neo Rhino seems to be perfect for the DRS cage. Mind you, that it's averaging about 95 to 100, which is perfectly fine for HVC. It's not too hard hitting, which, since this thing's hitting that hard, I can even use this at Nuclanta. And yes, on to the final segment. Ooh, so what do you guys think? I, for one, am very, very proud of this thing, like all my other builds that I crank out. It will be sad to send this off to Milan Duel for a little while, but then again, it's going to be returned to me because this is my blaster. I want to be able to play with it for a while. And yeah, maybe I'll even have a nice Picatinny attachment for it. Yeah, as ever, this channel could not keep going without my fans and people who support me over on Patreon, which links will be down in the description below. If you want to support me by throwing me a few bucks each month on Patreon, you get access to some small sneak peeks of stuff, as well as a few of my files before anyone else, like anything I designed, say, like my Tri-Strike pump grip pieces, or something that I'm printing up right now, like, yeah, sneak peek for you. This will be available to my patrons for a little while before I upload it to Thingiverse eventually. And yes, again, links down in the description, in the doodly-doo. And yeah, thanks for watching.